talk about what Costin brings to this team now that you've had him for about a month?
Yeah, actually, Ken and I were just talking about that this morning. I didn't know much about Klim. Obviously, the trade was made for Samorukov and him, and he went down to Bakersfield with a great attitude. He worked at his game in Bakersfield, and on that Florida trip when we lost Yamamoto and Kane, it provided an opportunity for him to come up. He didn't play initially. He played in that next game against so he missed the game against Carolina, but he played the next game in Florida. And right off the bat, I noticed someone who was big, someone who went to the net. We've sat and talked with him just about the opportunity that's before him. And, for him, I think if he plays a simple, straightforward, physical type of game, it's something that we need. And he's a young guy trying to find his footing full-time in the National Hockey League, and so far he's done a good job.
He's another first-round draft choice. Lots of first-rounders, for whatever reason, don't pan out someplace, and then there's the message somewhere else come from the coach. Resonate?
Yeah. Sometimes, yeah. I found that, sometimes people just need a change of scenery too, and need to be seen maybe with a fresh set of eyes, and different teams have different needs. And for us, when the opportunity presented itself, he's latched on and he's taking advantage of that, and that's what we want. We want to find and use players that are competing hard to be in our lineup on a daily basis, and that make us better. And since Klim has come up, he's done that. I think when he plays towards a formula of simplicity, he's quite effective, and he was very good last night.
And a guy who will fight Cassian can't be all bad.
Yeah, no, you know what, I said this the other day, not that that's his natural skill set or anything like that, but he has a size about him, and I think that commands attention from the other team, especially when he uses his frame. I think, that line of, I've pretty much kept them together with Shore and Derek Ryan, and they found a little bit of chemistry here, and with the amount of forwards that we've had out over the last few weeks, it's nice to have that group provide a little bit of, a steady play.
It's been a tough go for the Oilers against the Minnesota Wild, and I realize the answer might be if we knew we would change it. But is there anything specific that's given you guys trouble against them?
I actually thought we played a very mature road game in their building through the first 35 minutes or so last game, coming off tough travel circumstances. Not that we were lights out offensively or anything like that, but we were doing some good things, and found a way in critical moments in a short time span that turned the game on us. Is there anything they do? I think they're a good team. They're made up well. They have a good backhand. Obviously, they have experience in net, and up front they have a couple game breakers, and they're big and heavy, and they're a good team. They're a good team, and they've played us hard, and give them credit. They found a way to win that game, but I thought it was a winnable game from us. But now we get them back in our building, and it's our chance to answer back.
You mentioned tough travel circumstances recently. A lot of back and forth, a lot of home and away. Was today a good chance to kind of catch your breath?
Yeah. I said this yesterday about trying to refill our cup or refill the energy reservoir a little bit. And today, we decided to do an optional skate, and those that felt they needed a little extra rest took it, and those that needed to go out and work at little parts of their game, they went out on the ice. And I think, Jim and I were just talking off camera here that, we're not the only team going through a busy stretch in the month of December. I think most teams have busy stretches in December. It's how you handle it and how you're making sure that, during the holiday season, you maintain a level of focus and intensity about you. I think the teams that do that best are the ones that have the best records in the month of December.
What are you seeing?
Clean costing the hockey player. How about clean costing the person? Because it seems like he's having a lot of fun around the rink, always having fun with the media and the players. What is he like around the rink?
Yeah, he's been a good person. I see him around the rink a lot, so he's a rink rat. He stays at the rink, and he'll work on a shot. He'll, take advantage of the resources that our beautiful facility has. He's somebody who I think his teammates get along with and like. But I see someone who's trying to take advantage of this opportunity. Jim asked that question about coming from a different organization. Sometimes that opens eyes. And, the great thing is with all the injuries that we have had up front, we have nothing but opportunity here. And he's latched onto it so far. But we're in an everyday business, and he's going to have to continue to do that in order to stake a claim as being a full-time Edmonton Oiler.
What are you seeing from Holloway the last 4 or 5 games that you weren't maybe seeing? I see a guy driving to the net more than he was before. Were you telling him to try that? Or was he just saying, okay, I'm going to take the puck now and go to the net?
You know what? I think, for Dylan, he's learning how good this league is. He's learning, his capability versus NHL defensemen. And we can talk about that all we want. We can hope to accelerate stuff. He's got to go through it. He has to live it on an everyday basis. And, are we asking him to go to the net hard? Yeah, that's one of his gifts. He's big and strong and skates well, and he's fearless in bringing pucks to the net. What am I seeing from him in the last 4 or 5 games? I see him valuing the hard plays it takes to win hockey games. And sometimes it's taking a D wide and drawing a penalty that leads to a power play. Other times it's, guaranteeing a puck deep when you're at the end of your shift rather than turning it over. Those are the things that he's getting right now through experiential learning in the best league in the world. He's a very coachable, likable person, and he's given us some juice here.
You're in your first real kind of stretch with Connor and Leon together as your time as a coach. What do you look for when you're maybe deciding you want to change it up, or when do you know that it's run its course?
Well, I think that comes down to experience. When we decided to do that, we had lost a couple games in a row. We felt we needed a little jolt. As you noted, probably been the coach that's coached them with the least amount of time together. I think over the last 7 games, and it's been 7 games, the team is 5-2. We've had other people step up in different areas, which have allowed us to do that. I believe the first game that we did it, we ended up losing 2 players to injury. So we've had to have more people come in. But I think the team's responded, and I think they've done a lot of really good things to help pace us, and not just offensively, but help pace us in trying to win games.
Yamamoto looked more like Yamamoto.
Yeah.
Certainly last night.
Yeah, he should feel real good about himself, I think. I thought his first game was good, too. I thought there's a tenaciousness about him. There's a lot of really good subtle plays in his game where he plays inside people's equipment, where he cuts people's hands off. There's a level of physicality to him that I don't think he gets enough credit for. He's not the biggest man in the world, but to play the way he does, I think it makes us a better team. And you can, you see how good of a player he is when he's been away for a long time, and then the effect that he has when he gets injected into the lineup.
Looks like he's beating himself up a bit because he can't score a goal.
Oh,
like he had the
that'll
breakaway
come.
there,
Yeah.
and I see him on the bench and he's rolling his eyes.
Yeah, that'll come. I think you worry when you don't get those chances. And, I think his first shift in the Washington game, he went hard to the net. He had a chance to score a goal. It didn't go in for him. He keeps going to the hard areas. It'll go in.
And Benson's on waivers. Is that situation where maybe Fogel's almost ready to play, or is he just
Yeah,
got
I
too
think
many forwards?
Fogs is day to day, and so he's getting closer. But I think for Benny, my history with Tyler goes back to when he was first drafted and introduced to the organization, to his first games in Bakersfield. I got nothing but respect for him and his game. I think as an organization here, with some of the injuries that we've had at certain positions, and with the emergence of Costin, and with the way Janmark has played since he's come up, Benny has found himself out of the lineup since he's returned from injury. Thought he had a really good training camp. He got injured in that last game, and that hurt him. Took him a while to get up and running. He played 3 games in Bakersfield. He's come up. He's played 2 games here. I think it's about getting a young player up and running, so playing games and feeling confident about himself. But obviously his level of trust from our coaching staff goes very deep, because we've had Dave and I have had him for the last 4.5, 5 years.
One last thing on Nugent Hopkins. Can you see a concerted effort by him to be a little more selfish and not pass?
Yeah.
So at least 5-on-5 on the power play. I mean, he's got Leon and Connors.
Yeah, you know what? Go to the power play. I thought if you go back and watch that, he has a nice shot and everything like that off the flank, but he did some nice things on the entry there that I thought, were next level in terms of subtlety and execution. On 5-on-5, certainly in training camp this year, we've had numerous chats about how do you get off to the type of start that you want to have, and he's come in, he's had that look about him, and he's executing. And what I said this last night in the press conference, but I don't think he gets talked about enough. But one of the things about him, if you look at his year, he started the year, we've moved him all over the lineup, and he's still finding ways to make people around him better. And that's important, especially with the amount of people that we've had out. He's finding chemistry with different guys, and it's credit to him and the work that he's putting in.
Thanks, Jim.
Thanks, guys.